All right, today we're going to go over the human proportions. So, top of your paper, write proportions of a human figure. Proportions of a human figure. Okay. If I stand in front of you, I want you to hold your pencil at arm's distance. Hold the top of your pencil at the top of my head and put your thumb on, so the top of the pencil goes to the top of my head. Your thumb will end at where my chin is. You hold that measurement and figure out how many of those head measurements fits in my body. Should have come out with about 7.5 or 8. Most people are on average about 8, 7.5, 8 head measurements tall. So we need 8 heads tall, 8 head measurements tall, so we're going to need 9 lines. I want you to put a mark at every inch, because your paper is bigger. Mine, I'm going to have to go smaller. So I'm going to start at the 0. I'm going to put a mark on both sides so that I get one straight line. And then every inch on both sides, put a mark on both sides of your ruler. Every inch, put a mark over there. I'm going to do 3/4, just so I can get my 9 lines in there. Get 9 lines on there. Okay, so I have my 9 sets of marks. Now I'm going to just use those lines, those 2 marks, to draw a straight line. I don't care if it's straight across the paper, but I do care if it's parallel, that all of these lines are parallel. And draw them a decent length. You need about at least 3 inches. Doesn't have to go across your whole paper because your paper is bigger than mine. But it does need to be about 3 inches wide. We're going to draw the human figure in there, and it's not a stick figure. It's not a little over an inch wide. It's going to be a little bit wider than that. All right, so I should have 9 lines, so 8 figures heads. So 0. I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 heads tall. Just barely going to fit on my camera. Yep, it fits. All right, so in about the middle, I'm going to draw an egg from my head. My egg needs to get wider at the top, skinnier at the bottom, because the chin is skinnier than the top of our head. So I have my egg. Okay. So that's the head. Between the first and second line is the shoulders. So we have a neck and shoulders. Oh, I got that shoulder way too wide. Let me adjust that. Your shoulders should be a little bit wider than your head. So my head is right here. So my shoulders come out a little bit. Okay, the next line down, on the third line, is going to be your elbows. Sorry, let me write that where you can actually read it. Elbows and waist go on that third line. So your waist is going to go here, and your elbows are going to go here. So your armpits actually go right at here, right up to that second line. So your arms are going to come down. Your elbows will be about here. So that's elbow there, elbow there. The waist is going to get a little bit skinnier here. I made that arm way too wide. Okay? I'm not too worried about proportions on the width of a person right now as much as getting things height-wise proportion. Okay, so that's waist and that's elbows. Okay. Then another arm's length is your forearm. Sorry, another head length is your forearm. Keep drawing things kind of big today, don't I? So there's your forearm. And so your wrist goes on line 4. So that'll be your wrist. Gets a little bit wider again for your hips. Now, hands are going to go next. Hands, we're just going to kind of draw like a side view. And hands actually, if you lay them on your face, they're about the size of your face. So they're almost a full head length. So those fingertips come almost all the way down to that next line. Keep doing that. Sorry. The legs are going to go in next here. The knee comes all the way down to line 6. So there's my first knee, my left knee, and there's my right knee. So there's my knees. My ankles come down to about 7.5. So my ankles come down into here. And then the feet. The feet we're going to draw kind of like blocks. So I'm going to draw a rectangle or rectangular prism. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to draw 3 diagonal lines, a vertical line here, and a slight bit of a curve this way for this one because the leg is a cylinder. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that. See how this is curved a little bit right here? I'm going to draw it again over here, same type of idea. So I'm going to draw my rectangle, draw my 3 diagonal lines, draw a vertical, and connect these two with a slight curve down so it looks like my legs are attached to my feet in a cylinder, as a cylinder. Okay, so that is the human figure. Wrong way. I have the head, then the shoulders goes in between the next measurement, head measurement. The waist goes in the next measurement and the elbows. The hips fit in next with the wrists. The hips and wrists usually line up about equal. The hands fit in the next, almost fill up the next head measurement. And the legs take up, top part of your legs take up about 2 head measurements. Your knees go on the 6th line. The rest of your legs come down to about 7.5, and then draw blocks, rectangular prisms.